Hey folks, Jonathan again. Back to working on the rat rod truck. I done the video and put it on, and I realized that, I showed everybody the floor, but I wasn't helping anybody by just showing it to them. But I just want to give you a quick idea on, how to do one if you're gonna, if you've got a vehicle that don't have a floor at all, and where do you start? That's usually the problem. It's sort of overwhelming to try to even figure out where to start or get started on it. But once you're started on it, you're fine. You can't let that overrun you there. But what I did on this one now, I built this first, which this is 1.5 inch tubing under this. Now this has no framing under it whatsoever, but built this first, but you wouldn't have had to. Here's what I would suggest, and there's right ways, wrong ways. I don't know that there is a wrong way, but this is my way. The tunnel. Now this particular tunnel, of course, I've been on the brake press, and you don't have to use a brake press. I mean, you can bend this around a pole and work it and work with it a little bit to get your shape. And once you get that in or made, sit it in place where you want it. And even if you got to block it, I actually blocked this from the transmission. I put, I had some 2-inch blocks I put in it. I think I actually brought it up about, I think it was 3 inches off the transmission at the front. And then figured out where it needed to be. I went ahead and tack welded it in at the back. And once you get it in place, the center one that you see right here, I actually put that one in first. Excuse me, but I put it in first after the hump or the tunnel, whatever you want to call it, and welded it in place. And once I had it located where I wanted it, it's pretty simple to do the rest of this. Just get you an old poster board, hold it up there, and draw out with a pen, and get your pair of scissors and do like me, steal your wife's, and cause it's easier to steal hers than it is to find mine. But and she did come back and take them one time. I had to go back and steal them twice. But anyway, just cut your panels out and weld them in as you go. Do one and then go to your next one. And you can see right here, I went ahead and bent that on the brake press. That could have been 2 pieces. It's actually harder to get the figuring done to do it like this than it would have been to just to cut 2 pieces and weld it together. It don't take a second to weld it. So if you're doing something like this, just get you your main tunnel in, and block it in, whatever you've got to do to get it where you want it, get it located where you want it, and then just start tying it to everything. And then the last thing I done was the actual main 2 pieces of the floor. I done the bench seat part was first, of course, but the tunnel, and then I just started adding this. I started at the top and worked around, and then I worked around the other way. And then, I had the floor was rusted on this truck about up to here, and we actually cut it all out. But, put this panel in, and then, like I said, the floor was the last piece. And it's a little more aggravating to get right, but, you're working with poster board, so you can lay it down and fold it a little bit and mark it and do everything you need to do. And the thicker the poster board, the better off you are. I don't like corrugated, cardboard, because it's just aggravating to work with. But a good poster board is fine. I buy them at Family Dollar or Dollar General, one of them stores. I think 50 cents a piece. And now the real big ones like you used to get when we was kids, I hadn't seen them in a while. But I wanted to tell you that because just showing it to you really wasn't giving you any ideas on doing it if you've got a floor to do. But don't let it overwhelm you. It's not that big of a deal, and it's a floor. It's not, as long as it's structural, sound, and you're not going to have any problems. And make sure nothing's laying. You don't want your floor pan to be laying on top of your frame or anything like that. You want to make sure when you do it that it, you're off everything, 3/4 of an inch, and you're not going to get mad at yourself if you build your hump and your tunnel too far away from your transmission, because you'll be happy you did if you ever have to change your transmission, or a modulator valve, or well, not a modulator, it's 704, but I mean if you had to pull the governor outside and work on it, or anything like that, the lines, anything, you definitely want to have room. So You know, there's plenty of room in this truck to do that and still be fine. You know, I made sure there was enough for the distributor and the valve covers and all that stuff. You know, there's no reason to, you know, entrap all that stuff and then not be able to work on it. You got to remember, that's what we complain about when we're working on newer stuff, is the way that people engineered it. So make sure when you engineer it like you think it should be, not like the engineers think it should be. But anyway, I'm going to get finished up welding. I just got a little bit of welding to do. I've got a couple of little panels to make, weld them in, and then I'm going to wire brush this good with the wire cut brush on the side grinder, and then I'm going to rough it up a little bit with probably some 80 grit, and then I'm going to do the bed liner right over top the bare metal. I'm not going to prime it or anything like that, and not saying that's the right thing to do either, but that's the way I'm going to do it. I've done that before, and it's not a problem. And you know, if you don't like the way this hump's made, you know, square it off, because I mean, I don't think carpet would go good over this, but of course carpet don't go good over it when it's rounded either. But I've actually hammered, you know, sheet metal out, and this is 16 gauge. You know, you'd probably want to use 18 or 20 or something if you was going to hammer everything out, because this is a little heavy, and I didn't mind the weight. I mean, this, you know, I'm not building a race car or nothing, and you know, it's pretty light anyway, so the weight will help it out, and we won't have to worry about the floors rusting out anytime soon or anything like that. So, but anyway, a couple tips, and you know, hopefully it'll help somebody. And don't think I'm a professional at this. This is just the way I do it. So you may do it different and possibly even better, but and probably do better. But this is just how I do it. So, all right, back to it. Okay, all the welding is done. All I'm going to do anyway, and just got to get it cleaned up with the wire brush here, and once I get it all cleaned up, I'll hit it with some 50 grit on a. I'm either going to use 50 grit on the DA sander, or possibly maybe just a flapper wheel or something just to rough it up enough where I know that stuff gets a good hold. And you know, I don't know. It's been years since I've used any bed liner, but you know, we'll try it and see how it looks. It says right on the thing that it'll increase the value of your trucks, and I think the gallon was about 70 bucks, and it's probably going to make it worth about $20 more than it was. So I don't think we're coming out too well, but we're going to try it anyway. But my problem is knowing when to stop. You know, there's so much other little things that I could do, more places I can, you know, patch a little bit or make it look better or do this, and I got to keep telling myself it's just a rat rod, and I can't keep spending time on something that, you know, it's not supposed to be right to start with. Okay folks, I've got a coat on. I've still got some touch up and stuff to do with a brush, and then I'm going to put some more on it, but I was afraid it was going to get dark on me, so I didn't want to I want to go ahead and show you before it got dark. But I'm going to keep at it and go ahead and get some more on it. But that's what she's going to look like. Put the bench seat in it earlier, and there's no way that it's going to clear. I really wanted the original bench back in it, but I think we'll use it on our Ford rat rod build, and on the next rat rod build. And then I'm going to go ahead and put these buckets back in here. I don't necessarily like them, but that's the way it goes. And the shifter's actually going to mount right here on the tunnel, and should be able to get this knocked out. And I'm going to knock the bed out, and then we're going to get back on the wrecker. Alright folks, appreciate everybody subscribing, commenting, liking. Till next time, bye.